Everyone, welcome back to my channel, the IIT Encoder. This is the next video in our series on integrating MongoDB Realm in our Android project. So this video specifically is explicitly based on integrating Google sign-in techniques in our Android Studio application. So we will be using the latest OAuth 2.2 technology by Google so that we can authenticate using Google Auth ID or Google ID token or Google Auth code or whatever you want. Okay, so let's go ahead and please see the tutorial. So first go to Google Cloud Console. So we will be needing to create a new account, right? So because okay, I will show you with my new account how to start. So first go to the ID encoder and enter whatever your password is and sign in. So yeah, after signing in you will be taken to this page where you can configure Google Cloud Platform. So let me select my country, agree to the terms of service and then continue. This will initialize your Google Cloud Platform for the first time. Okay, so now the Google Cloud Platform is ready. This is the free trial mode though, but it is ready. So now go to APIs and service and then credentials. So here in the credentials you can create a project. So let me create a new project, MongoDB Realm course. So this is the free version. So you will have just 12 projects remaining in your quota. I guess 12 projects are enough. You can make a new Google ID. So we have no organization, so let it be no organization because it has no parent folder, and this is a project ID. It won't be changed later, so think of it what you want to keep it. Now click on create. So this will create a new project in Google Cloud Platform for us, which we will use to integrate Google sign-in in our application. So let it create the project for us. So Google authentication is a very powerful service because nowadays most of the people are registered with Google and have a Gmail ID. So it will make your application very easy to use and you can integrate it easily also. So we will select this project. So this will be the first time it will do the tutorial. So now what do we need to do is create credentials and create an OAuth client ID. So what is it this for? You can refer to the documentation, but basically the OAuth client ID does is it provides you a unique client ID for associated with this Google account that you can use to authenticate the new users that are signing into your app. Okay, so first we will configure the consent screen. We will not keep it much customized. We'll just use it external and create. So there are much you need to provide these information now. Okay, so provide an app name MongoDB and course, user support email, app logo is not mandatory, not mandatory, developer contact information is mandatory. Save and continue. So now nothing is mandatory, save and continue. Optional info, save and continue. Summary, and now save and continue. Back to dashboard. So we are done. Right. So now just make credentials, create credential, OAuth client ID. So first we need to make an Android client ID. Okay. So let's name this Android client one. Now package name. So where do you get your package name? Okay. So let's open our project. Open recent MongoDB RAM course. So go to manifest. This is com.example.mongodb realm course is the package ID for us. So let's copy this and let's paste this here. Now where do you get the SHA1 fingerprint from? So I should not leak this out, but for MongoDB Realm I will leak this out. Keep your SHA1 key safe, okay, because The SHA-1 key is like the fingerprint of your application, so it can be used in any way. So just keep it safe with you. So how to get the SHA-1 key, I will show you. So the first method, which is a very easy method, is right click on our application, click new activity, Google, and Google Maps activity. So finish. So I will make a video on how to get the SHA-1 key for your application in the Android Studio course if you don't get it now, but I will repeat the process here. There is another method which I will show you in the video. So here in the Google Maps activity that I have just built, go to that and go to res layout activity underscore maps code, and as you can see it is empty, right? But the Google Maps API, you have the SHA-1 fingerprint here. Just copy it, paste it here, create. So now this will create an OAuth client ID for you. Okay, so this is a client ID which has been created. So this is done. But now if you need to use the Android Google sign-in, there is a tricky part which is not listed anywhere. Go to create credentials, go to OAuth client ID, and you also need a web application type client ID. So the MongoDB documents don't specify this, neither do any other documents, but this is a very important step because most of the people miss this step. They don't create a web application because they think that we are building an Android app, so why is web application required? But this is required. So wait, just create this web application one and create it. So after you have created both, you will get a client ID for this and a client ID for this. If you click on this web client one, you will also get a client secret and a client ID. Okay, so now I will demonstrate to you how to implement this in Android Studio. Okay, so I have made a demo project which gives us the token which signs in using REST API and which also signs in using the server auth code or with Drive. Okay, I will share you the GitHub repo link of this project if you want. So first go to Gradle scripts, build.gradle. Okay, and as you can see, here is the play services auth. This is for the REST API. Everything has been documented here. Okay, so this GitHub repo I found on GitHub, so I give him the due credit for making this repo. So but I am like sharing this in public interest. So copy these dependencies. Okay, and for testing purposes copy all the dependencies and implement them in a MongoDB. So now I have the SHA-1 key, so just delete the maps activity, delete anywhere, activity maps. Okay, Google Maps underscore API.xml, delete, do refactor. Yeah. So all these have been deleted. Okay, so metadata, remove this metadata, API key, remove it. Okay, go to build.gradle and the app level build.gradle and then implementation and then sync now. Okay, the next thing we will be doing is the see, now I will go to the manifest file and you can configure the web server client ID here, or you can go to the strings.xml and write a string name server client ID and you can paste your web client ID here. So I won't be revealing my web client, I have done that, but you can copy your web client ID here. So these are other strings are just for loading, signing and other stuff. So now we go to our main code. Okay, so to get the ID token from the Google web server, we first declare an activity called ID token activity, and what do we have to do is basically first configure everything. Okay, then validate server client ID is not required, it is just for checking if your Google client ID is correct or not that you have entered. Next, this is the important part. Google sign-in options GSO. We configure the GSO here, okay? So let's make main activity. So here we are logging in here, right? So let's sign in with Google, and here will come a server client ID. So we need to declare it in strings.xml. Resource value is web client ID. So this is the server client ID that we need to place here. The next thing that we need to do is Google sign-in client equals Google sign-in dot get client. So I've already declared this Google sign-in client above. See this. So let's create this Google sign-in client here also. So I have created this Google sign-in client. Let's create it on the top only. Let's create as a global variable for this class. So Google sign-in client Google sign-in client. Okay. So after we have created this Google sign-in client, okay. So I will explain to you how this works. So first, the Google sign-in options is created, which links your web server client ID with the project, okay, and it builds the options on them, and then the sign-in client gets activated when you do this. So that this activates your client for authentication. So the next step is basically just fetching the token, okay. So the get ID token is basically just an intent. Basically, just like you get an image from the gallery, it is just like that, but using the sign-in client you get the sign-in intent. So that was all for getting the token. And for getting the refresh ID token, you can just like first everything, like the Google sign-in client has features for everything. You can easily get the token, you can easily get the OAuth code, everything. And this is for handling the results. So see, first we call start activity for result, and then in the start on activity result, if the code is correct, that is the request code is correct, then we and then we put the task as the signed in intent data that we collected, and then we start the handle sign in result activate task. So after this is done, we go to handle sign in here, and this gets the ID token. And here I am basically using MongoDB for logging in with Google, but this part of the code I will explain later. For now, just keep this, that here I can do anything I need to server and validate. I have hence got the ID token from the Google server. So for sign out, it is simple, just write Google sign in client dot sign out and it signs us out. So this was the ID token activity for getting the ID token. The next thing is the auth code. These two are important, okay. So for getting the auth code, everything is similar. Just here we will write, instead of the get token, we will write dot get server auth code. So everything is same. Just instead of getting ID token, we write get server auth code. Now moving on to sign in with Drive, we basically don't do much. We build the sign-in client as we had done earlier, and on clicking, we like just request the Google sign-in client to give us the access of the Drive. So wait, I will show you. See, again on clicking sign in, we just open the sign in intent, and when he clicks, wait, it is somewhere here, as the lines of coding, yeah, see, handle sign in result. It tries to fetch the account of the user that you have logged in, and if the sign in is successful, then it updates the UI, otherwise it shows an error. So that's all for this video. Hope you understood how to get the sign-in token and the server auth code from Google. I will be sharing this code with you in my GitHub repo so that you can access this code and try it. This is like this project has been built See, I will show you why. Oh, I can't. I have not made the web client ID. Wait. Let me add the web client ID here and let me show you how this project works. So let me just run this project for you and show you how this works. So we'll click on play and disconnect. So it will run the AVD and this is a project. So here if you click on ID token activity and then you click on sign in, you can choose an account to be added to this phone. Or so let me just enter my email theiencoder@gmail.com. Let me enter my pass. Okay, it's showing my password, so let me just enter it. So I've entered my password, so now I will skip this step. I agree. So it gave a notification on my phone saying new user signed in. It's configuring. It is as if you're adding a Google account to a new phone. So just let it happen for a while. It's a little okay. I'm having some error here connecting, but I guess you got the point, right? See, this is a project. I will just try once more. Currently, the Google server, like it happens when you configure things on your phone, the Google server doesn't respond and you can't connect. But just try running this app on your once on your phone, and you will get the hang of it. So I hope you understood this video how to integrate Google Sign-In with in the application. Suppose you are using a different app. Suppose you want to integrate all this in a new app in a already existing application. Just use the server auth code activity. Just copy this whole activity and everything, and just add them and just get the auth code, and then you can use it to sign in any database you want. So I hope you like this video. Please do like, share and subscribe, and for any doubts or any requests, please do leave them in the comment section.